Hi, I'm Eric from Stinger. Today we've got this Silverado in the bay so that I can show you how easily you can upgrade your 2014 to 2018 Silverado or Sierra or 2015 to 19 2500 or 3500 Chevy truck with a Horizon 10. Our integration kit is all plug and play, so it plugs right into the factory connectors. And it takes this HD 10-inch touchscreen display and mounts it flush in the dash so it looks amazing. The Horizon 10 is packed with tons of awesome features like wireless CarPlay and Android Auto, HDMI connectivity, USB, lots of other fantastic features. We're going to retain the factory backup camera and it looks amazing on this HD 10-inch screen. So let's get started with the install so I can show you how easily you can upgrade your truck.
The tools we're going to use in this installation are a T15 Torx, 7mm socket, 10mm socket with ratchet or drill, Phillips screwdriver, small flathead screwdriver, flush cutters, razor knife, pick tool, a long zip tie. Before starting the installation, determine the vehicle's factory audio system by referencing the service parts indicator sticker inside the upper glove box. One of these RPO codes will be listed: IO3, IO4, IO5, IO6, or IOB. In this video, we'll be showing the installation in an IO5 system, which has the factory reverse camera and steering wheel controls. Using a nylon pry tool, carefully remove the trim panel around the factory radio. Work your way around the outside. Disconnect the two harnesses plugged into the back of the panel. Now we can remove the four 7mm bolts securing the radio into the dash. Then, by carefully pulling out on both sides, we can remove the display from the dash. Disconnect any harnesses from the back of the display and the climate control panel. Then, remove the two 7mm screws, securing the CD/DVD mechanism into the dash. Pull it out and unplug it as well. Now we can disconnect all the harnesses from the upper radio module. Pulling the radio module out of the dash a bit makes it easier to disconnect the antenna connector. Then completely remove the module. Remove the two T15 Torx screws from below the glove box. Then, by opening the glove boxes, we can see the two T15 Torx screws we have to remove next. After these screws are removed, the entire lower glove box can be removed. Now we can remove the two T15 Torx screws from the top of the upper glove box. Then we can remove the upper glove box. There's a large metal bar running across the inner dash. Up behind the back of this metal bar, you'll find an HMI module. Locate the gray 12-pin connector closest to the driver's side of this module. Unplug this connector. Then connect the supplied adapter with the yellow RCA connector to this plug. Now route the yellow video connector up through the dash to the radio opening. Now we'll want to remove the two covers on the passenger side A-pillar. You might find that some pry tools won't fit under the panel. Using a small, slim pry tool will help you remove the panel to gain access to the 10mm bolts. Now we can remove the two 10mm bolts. Carefully grab on the pry handle and remove it from the vehicle. Place the GPS antenna on the dash near the windshield. Then, using a long zip tie, route the GPS cable down the A-pillar to the glove box area. Then continue routing this cable through to the radio opening. Pull the cable slack through. Twist it into a large loop. Then twist it into a figure 8 and fold it back onto itself. Then secure this ring with zip ties and trim off the excess of the zip ties. Remove the two T15 Torx screws from the bottom edge of the storage compartment. You might find it easier to access the screws using a short bit driver or a finger ratchet. Then pull down the storage compartment to remove it. Be sure to disconnect any connectors on the back of the panel. Press in on their latch tab, then pull the connector to remove them. Some of the small connectors may be easier to remove using a small pick tool. Now we can remove the two T15 Torx screws from the bottom edge of the knee bolster panel below the steering column. Pulling this panel up and away from the dash will allow you to remove the entire panel. We can then remove the small plastic T-handle from the steering wheel tilt lever. It may be difficult to remove, so using a nylon pry tool under the lever will allow you to remove it easier. Now we want to separate the lower half of the steering column cover by gently pulling down on both sides. Locate the included 10-pin T-harness. Locate the black 10-pin plug under the steering column. If you reach your finger up behind the plug, you can press in on the latch tab with your other hand to remove the harness. Plug the factory connector into the female connector on our T-harness. If we gently bend the connector down toward the wires on the latch tab side, it'll make it easier to insert this connector back into the factory location. Then route the T-harness back along the factory wiring and secure it with a zip tie. Then, using a long zip tie, we can route the bullet on the end of this connector up through the dash to the radio opening. Now we can reassemble the steering column cover. Start by aligning the passenger side of the column first, as there are more pieces to align. Then snap the pieces together. Now reinstall the small plastic T-handle and verify that the tilt function operates properly. Place the external speaker behind the black plastic bar at the bottom of the opening below the steering wheel. Align the right side hole of the speaker bracket with the hole in the support and secure it with a zip tie. Place a second zip tie around the support bracket and the speaker bracket. Route the cable up behind the dash to the radio opening. Then we can reinstall the knee bolster panel by aligning the clips and sliding it back into position, and reinstall the two T15 Torx screws. Now on the bench, we can set down a soft surface. Then we can set the OEM storage compartment down so we can remove the power outlet. Looking inside the power outlet, you can see two small black plastic latch tabs. Using a pick tool inside or outside the outlet, you can access these latch tabs. While pressing on the back of the power outlet, you can press it out of the front of the panel. Then slide the metal sleeve out. Now press in on the two latch tabs and remove the plastic sleeve and door. Next, we can install the USB extension cables. There's an optional cover included. If we close the cover like this, we get an idea of the orientation. Now we can pass the ends of the cable through and thread this connector on. Now we have the cover installed. Pass the ends of the cable through the front of the OEM panel. Now we have the option to mount the USB ports with the cover where it opens up or opens down. There are two washers included. We'll use the one with the flange first. Pass this over the ends of the cables and thread it all the way onto the body of the USB connector. Confirm you have the desired orientation of the USB outlets and the cover before fully tightening this nut. Then thread on the locking nut to secure it into position. Now we want to connect our main vehicle harness to the radio replacement module. There's a single connector on the end of the harness, which plugs into the single connector on the side of the radio module. Connect the 3-pin power plug, connect the vehicle connector into the port labeled Vehicle Harness. The audio connector has two places it can be connected. Plug into the non-amplified port if your vehicle is non-amplified. Plug into the amplified port if your vehicle is equipped with a factory amplified audio system. Two adapter harnesses are included with the kit. We're going to use the adapter that has the larger black connector. Connect the three adapters on this harness to the end of the main vehicle harness. Connect the small 3-pin connector into the pack link module. The 10-pin to 10-pin extension cable is the same on both ends. Connect either end into either port on the pack link module. Then connect the other end of this cable in the port labeled expansion port. Find the small black heat shrink covered module labeled RPA VA1. Connect this onto the small connector at the end of the vehicle harness. This harness also has a blue wire with white stripe, which can be used for a remote turn-on to turn on aftermarket amplifiers. The red and black accessory power leads are provided for connecting lighting or additional cameras. On the 16-pin AV input harness, locate the yellow RCA labeled reverse camera in. Plug in the male yellow RCA connector from the vehicle harness. There's a 3.5mm connector labeled external mic. If you install the external microphone, we'll connect it here in the vehicle. Locate the red and white RCAs on the vehicle harness and plug them into the corresponding RCAs on the harness labeled aux audio in. Pass a small zip tie through the back of the pack link module and secure it to the vehicle wiring harness. Carefully set the factory radio display down on the soft surface. Using a small pick tool or flathead screwdriver, disengage the 7 clips securing the climate control assembly into the panel. Locate the display mounting panel included with the kit and set it face down on the soft surface. We want to install the factory climate controls into this panel, pressing it into place until it snaps into position. Using flush cuts, we want to remove the half-moon pieces of plastic from the opening in the center of the display mounting panel. Then use a razor knife to ensure that the edges are clean. The 4 outermost holes will be used to secure the display into the panel, so we need to install the rubber plugs into the 6 innermost holes. Align the back of the display mounting panel with the back of the display. Then install the 4 M4x12 screws. If you lift the display and press it into the mounting panel, you might find it easier to install the mounting screws. The LVDS display cable is the same on both ends. Slide either end of the LVDS cable into the back of the display. Be sure to route the cable down through the split rubber ring at the bottom of the opening. There are tabs on the back of the cover that align with the notches on the back of the display. Align these tabs, then slide the cover into position. Finally, using a small Phillips screwdriver, install the M2.6 by 6.5 screw. Locate the small hardware pack with the 2 clips. Attach these clips to the mounting tabs on either side of the display mounting panel. Now locate the 2 side mounting brackets. Align the mounting bracket so that the tab is on the side of the radio module with all of the connectors. Then secure the bracket to the radio module using 2 M5x10 screws. Then repeat this process with the other bracket on the other side of the module. The small hardware pack containing 2 Phillips screws will be used to install this module into the truck. Bring the storage compartment with the USB extension cables into the vehicle. Route the extension cables up through the dash into the radio opening. If your truck is equipped with a power outlet, you'll need to reconnect those power connections. The plug for the 12-volt power outlet will not be reconnected because we've replaced that outlet with the dual USB connections. Slide this panel back into position and snap it into the dash. Tuck the extra USB cables into the dash, leaving enough of the connectors hanging out to connect into the radio module. Reinstall the 2 T15 Torx screws to secure the lower storage compartment. Connect the AM/FM antenna adapter into the black FACRA connector. 2 small loop harnesses are included with the kit. Check to see if these fit any of the connectors inside your dash. If they do, plug them into the factory connector. Connectors that don't match your factory harnesses will not be used. Connect the vehicle's radio connectors into the main vehicle harness. An adapter harness is included to adapt your radio's connectors if the vehicle harness does not match. The short satellite extension cable is used to retain Sirius XM. Plug this connector into the yellow FACRA connector. Then connect the other end of this cable into the antenna connection on your Sirius XM tuner, sold separately. Locate the small green wire with the bulleted connector, labeled SWC connector. Then plug this into the bulleted connector that we ran from the steering column earlier. Ensure that the yellow reverse camera input harness is plugged into the yellow RCA cable labeled camera. Slide the radio module up into the upper dash cavity. Then install 2 number 8 by 1/2 inch Phillips screws to secure the radio module into the sub-dash. Plug the AM/FM antenna adapter into the port labeled ANT. Plug the camera harness into the 16-port labeled AV in. Plug the main harness into the large port on the radio module. There's a data cable that features a 4-pin plug, which allows connection and control of Stinger and lighting. Plug this connector into the port labeled Data. The harness with all the RCA connectors plugs into the port labeled Pre-outs. This is for adding aftermarket amplifiers to your truck. Connect the GPS connector into the port in the upper left corner labeled GPS. Connect the USB-C connector into the port labeled Phone. The USB connector can plug into either port. We recommend the top port closest to the edge of the radio chassis for the most functionality. An HDMI connection is available if you want to run a cable to the glove box. If installing the external microphone, locate the cable labeled External Mic. The microphone includes 2 mounts. One is a clip style, the other features an adhesive base. Select the mount you want to use and slide the microphone into the mount. Find an ideal mounting location. We recommend the top of the A-pillar. Attach the mount to the A-pillar. Then, carefully using your nylon pry tool, route the cabling behind the A-pillar and down the weather stripping. The optional windscreen can prevent wind noise from affecting your microphone's performance. Removing the plastic sail panel from the side of the dash will allow you to route the cable behind the dash to the radio opening. Using a long zip tie, route the cable behind the dash panel to the radio opening. Plug the 3.5mm connector into the black cable labeled Mic. Connect the 2-pin plug from the chime speaker into the connector near the radio module labeled External Speaker. Now we can turn the truck on and perform a quick functionality test. Verify you get AM/FM reception. Verify steering wheel controls operate correctly, including seek and volume. Shift the truck into reverse and confirm that the reverse camera displays on the radio. Now that we've verified proper functionality, we can turn the truck off and reinstall the vehicle panels in the opposite order from which we removed them.
Well, that's all it takes to use our plug-and-play kit to integrate this awesome infotainment unit into your Silverado or Sierra. For more information, visit stingersolutions.com. We hope you found this video helpful. Thanks for watching.